Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Nikki. This is my channel. I like plants. If you're new here, huge welcome. Thank you so much for coming. If you are returning, thank you so much for coming back for more. I appreciate it. So today we're going to take a little dive into my morning routine and some plant chores. So if that sounds like something that you're interested in checking out, stick around and check it out. Okay, so this morning we are gonna take you on a little bit of my morning routine, from making coffee because priorities, to turning on all of my plant lights, which does take a while, but we are in the process of working out a much better system for that. And then I've got some plant chores to do. My cacti, my Hoya, and my succulents have been ignored recently, so I am going to be doing some maintenance on those and just some general planty stuff. You know, like routine-y, cleany, chore-y things. Okay, guys, so without further ado, let's get into the chores. Okay, so, I mean, you have to make coffee first. You can't do the things until you do the coffee, and then you can do the things. Coffee, and then things. So this is me making my coffee. In case you've never made coffee before, and perhaps then I've just made a tutorial on how to percolate coffee from grounds. Yes. Okay, so now while the coffee is brewing, I go around and turn all of my plant lights on. I did speed this up because there are a lot of lights. So we're actually in the process right now. Oh, and yes, and make sure you've got water in there. We're in the process. I bought a bunch of those smart plugs and a couple of those timers. And so we're gonna hook all of those up. I've got Alexa, so instead of me walking around every morning, climbing up on ladders, potentially falling and, you know, impaling myself on something, I can just walk out of my bedroom in the morning and say, Alexa, turn on my plant lights. And ta-da! Oh, totally sorry if that triggered anybody's Alexa. Did I shut your TV off? How about your lights? Are you sitting in the dark right now? Oh, okay. Anyways, so I'm still going around and turning all of my lights on. It's quite the process. I think we're done. Are we done? Take a look around. Yeah, we got them. Yeah. Okay, coffee. Percolate faster. There we go. I slowed this part down because it's like, does coffee make everybody else this excited, or is it just me? Because I don't know, in the morning it's like, and I'm sure you've heard that, it's like, that first sip of coffee hits your soul and you're like, yes, yeah, you know, I don't know, that's, yeah, yep, good coffee, just drink it. Okay, so I am not typically a bottom waterer. I have way too many plants and not enough time to bottom water all my plants. However, I have come to find out that this is the best and easiest way to water all of my succulents, my cacti, and my Hoya. So I have just stirred up some cactus fertilizer into the water, poured it into these little trays, and sat all of my succulents in there. And this works so well. The succulents love it. They don't get any more or less than they need. Oh yeah, gotta clean this. Look at all the dirt. That's just from those little pots sitting there. It's not like I jostle the pots around, you know what I'm saying? Like, they just sit. So this was driving me nuts, so I had to clean my window. So I'll just sit back and let you watch me clean my window. And my sink. Does anybody else do this? You get cleaning one thing and then you just keep going. I am so like that. So I read this thing once that said, wake up in the morning, like stay at home moms, because I was home with my daughter for a while when she was small. And they said, you know, like in order to feel like productive and, you know, get your day off to a good start, first thing you do, get up in the morning, get dressed, put your face on or whatever it is that you do, and then clean your kitchen sink. So I was given this little recipe for making your sink look amazing. And I will tell you, I know it sounds ridiculous, but it is like the best thing ever. When your sink is super shiny and super clean. Okay, I'll stop rambling about the stupid sink. Okay, so I am now cleaning all of these little prop balls out because they were getting gnarly looking. These little propagation balls are the most amazing little things, especially if you are limited for shelf or counter or, you know, space to actually sit them on things. They just pop into your wall and they're really cool. They're very aesthetic looking, very kind of modern. But then it gets all your propagations up off your tables and your surfaces, which I absolutely love because all of my tables and surfaces are already covered by plants. So yeah. So basically I'm just going through, taking all of the plants out of these balls. I did not intend on potting any of these up today, although as you can see, there are a lot of roots on a lot of these plants and I really need to do that. And I will, just not today. I just wanted to get these cleaned out, get some fresh water in there, and have them looking nice, because nobody likes an algae-covered ball hanging from your wall. So, okay, so I had to pause here because the dog got hungry. And when he gets hungry, he gets really annoying. So we're just going to feed and water the dog. And then the cat noticed that I was feeding the dog, and then the cat got hungry, so the cat became annoying, so I had to feed the cat. Okay, back to cleaning the plants. So, I just, every time I change the water in these, usually I'll rinse the plants off and just make sure there's no like residual algae or gunk or goo or whatever. It's just nice to keep the roots nice and clean. So that is what we're doing here. Seriously, a lot of roots on these plants. I assure you, these are going to get potted soon, and they will look lovely. But I already knew that this video was going to be a while, and so I didn't want to do any potting. Yeah, So I erred on the side of let's just cram them back in there with their super long roots. And just as I'm doing this, I'm just kind of pruning the plants and checking them out and making sure there's nothing weird and funky going on with them. So that was me just picking some of the dead bananas off of the string of bananas. Okay, so now that the succulents have had their time in their water, you can see that there was very little water left in those containers. And they have been nicely watered, and so now I'm just going to go through and kind of pick off any dead leaves and just kind of make them look nice and just prune them up a little bit. So I find tweezers the absolute best thing. If you have succulents, tweezers are most definitely a must-have. Now this plant I noticed had mealybugs, so you know, it got real. And you'll see me hold this up to the camera a couple times, like you can actually see the little white bugs on the white Q-tip. God, Nikki, get it together. Anyways, I tried to show you mealybugs. There was actually quite a few of them on there, which was kind of gross. But it's the only plant literally in my collection, which is shocking, that has any pest right now. So if that was only on one succulent, I'm totally down with that, especially after the crap I dealt with freaking thrips. Oh, you know what? That's not even true. I did find a Hoya, and you'll see it. I did have thrips on a Hoya, so then I went absolutely nuts. which I'll explain. Oh, yeah. I totally forgot. See, I actually recorded this video like a week ago. And I'm voicing it over now because I've been trying to sit down to voice it over for quite some time and it just wasn't happening. So now we are going to go ahead and bottom water all of my cacti. So this is the same process. I used the cacti and succulent fertilizer, mixed it up in the water, poured, filled them all up, etc., etc. Now, every time I wash or I water my plants, I'll usually take all the trays out. Oh yeah, I hadn't eaten anything that day, so, bananas. Anyway, so I clean all the trays, I clean the shelves, try to make sure everything looks nice and neat and tidy. I find cleaning the trays out, I'm sure other people do this also, I would hope. Because a lot of the time, and I'll check the bottom of the pot just to make sure there's no like weird little bugs crawling around, and because nobody likes weird little bugs crawling around. Okay, so there is all of my cacti back on its nice clean shelf. And now onto my Hoyas. Now this is the Hoya that I believe this is the Hoya that I found thrips on. No, it is not. That is my Hoya carnosa. My Hoya obovata, which desperately needs a little trellis or a little stake of some kind. So I'm just kind of going through. It's a good opportunity to check all of your plants, and you'll notice that I'm checking the tops, the leaves, the stems, the underside of the leaves, just to make sure that there's nothing there. These plants are all on my plant shelf, and they're very, very close together. So I just wanted to make sure that everything was okay. Now this is the plant that I found the thrips on, and I will show you this leaf right here. You can see it in my hand. That's what a Hoya looks like when it has thrips. So if you see these markings, check for thrips. There are some other things that will cause pocking and that sort of look on Hoyas. This time it was absolutely thrips. So Nikki went into freak out mode, and at that point I was super checking absolutely everything. You'll see in a second here I whip out my solution and I give everything a spray. I also purchased some diatomaceous earth, and you will see me like literally put so much of this stuff. I wasn't really sure. This is the first time I've used it. So I wasn't really sure how much to put like around the plant, and I probably, in all honesty, totally overkilled this whole thing. But at this point, I've been dealing like the heck that I went through in the summer dealing with thrips. I was not messing around, And you'll see in a few minutes when I start putting the DE on the soil that it's super overkill. So while those are watering, I clean the Hoya shelf. Isn't it a lovely sunny day out? Look at that. Okay, there's the DE. And I literally coat the top of the... Now, if you guys use this stuff, can you let me know, like, how much do you put on there? Like, I am almost positive that this was, like, super overkill. There I'm just staking up a couple of my Hoyas that are getting a little floppy. Again, more overkill with the DE. And then I just kind of continue on. These plants were all on the same shelf with that plant with the thrips. I did not, fortunately, find any other thrips on any of the other plants, but like I said, I was not taking any chances, and because these were all on the same shelf, I wigged out a little. So, me going overkill on DE. Now I will say, you'll see me put it on the top of the soil. Now as I water the plants going forward, and typically I do top water these plants. I was just in a bottom watering mode because I was already doing my cacti and succulents. So when you top water these, it will pull the DE down into the soil. Any soil that I have mixed after this video, I actually mixed the DE right into the soil, so it's already all throughout. But really, usually the only the first like inch or so of the soil really matters anyways. So these plants that I'm going to town on currently were sitting beside the shelf with the Hoya on it. So like I said, I went totally overboard and just gave everything a good go. So just putting everything back on the shelf. It was such a dreary day. It was raining. I don't know if you can see it on the window. It's pretty sped up there. So these Hoya seem to do really well in this window. I do have a grow light pointed directly at them. You can tell they're doing well because my princess and my sunrise are coloring up and they were beautiful. Nope, let's just move that. Okay, that's it. How gorgeous. So that was it. That was my morning routine / plant tours and all that jazz. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed the voiceover. That was kind of new. I'm still working out the kinks for this whole voiceover thing. So let me know what you thought of that. And also, if you have any other videos that you would like to see, anything that you would like me to do, then please throw it down in the comments. Message me. Let me know. I am always open and willing to suggestions. So that is about it. Thank you so much for liking and commenting and subscribing. I love you all to bitty bits. Have a great day, night, week, month, and year. And I will see you in the next one. Mwah! And I would just like to add one more thing. 5 fenestrations!